Good evening. This is Jamie Cook-Tate of Four Winds Heart-Centered Healing, and I thought I'd try something a little different this evening. I'm getting ready to send our weekly newsletter, but I thought that I would try to do a video of our featured article. So I'm going to be reading it because it is a written newsletter, so bear with me and let's see how this works, okay? Boundaries. This is a huge topic and it would take more than a couple of paragraphs to adequately cover this. But for now, let's just start at the beginning. Everybody talks about boundaries, but what does it really mean? Is it that line that you draw in the sand and dare anyone to cross? Is it shutting yourself off from the needs of others? For me, healthy boundaries are being aware of what works for me and what doesn't. How far I'm willing to extend myself, and most of all, knowing when to say no. I'm sure I'm not the only one who has given and given until I was running on empty with nothing left to sustain myself. And then, when I stumbled out of exhaustion, I apologized for not having any more to give. I am so glad that those days are over. On my healing journey, I learned how to change this. First of all, I had to recognize that I was worthy and deserving of having my needs met. Not my wants, my needs. Then I had to make that startling paradigm shift that I must put myself at the top of the list. And this was such an alien concept. But over time, it became clear that if I wasn't fully functional, then those that I cared for were getting less than they deserved. In the past, I had seen myself as the bottom of a pyramid, providing a stable foundation for those I love. However, I came to realize that the life I was living was crushing me. When I began to think of myself as the top of the pyramid, I was free and able to breathe and grow. All my healing and self-care flowed down to those below me. It's simple, really, but so out of our habitual mode of functioning. Once I made the decision to change my life, I needed to let the people in my life know about the changes. I needed to set boundaries. Now here's where it gets a little tricky. In retrospect, they'd never asked me to sacrifice my well-being for them. I had set up the expectation that I would be all, do all, and they'd become quite used to the status quo. When I made my choice to practice self-care, my family and my co-workers took a bit of time to get used to the changes. But the truth is they were supportive. They could see, probably before I did, that I was on overload. Taking the time with each person to redefine my role and theirs was an empowering experience. I won't lie and say it was easy, but with each step on this new way of being, I could see how much better I was feeling and acting, and so could the people around me. Here's what I learned. If I say no, it's still going to get done because somebody else is going to do it. Imagine that. I also recognized that by enabling my children, I was sabotaging their future success. Responsibility helps children calibrate their moral compass and develop their work ethic. By not delegating important projects to my staff, I was failing as a mentor and a leader. When I set my boundaries, everyone around me benefited. Some of you may have noticed that we didn't send out a newsletter last week. Well, I hope somebody noticed. Stephanie and I were on overload and we just decided to take the week off. It's what we both needed for our self-care. So we did. And we're here again this week, re-energized and enthusiastic. Setting healthy boundaries is a process. So start today. Take the first step. Inventory your life. Are you on overload? If so, what is it that's weighing you down? Start with the first thing on your list and brainstorm how you can begin to make changes. With just the smallest shift, you'll begin to notice a profound difference. This wasn't a journey I took alone. I needed direction and support to make those changes. Four Winds Heart-Centered Healing has a wide variety of helpful services. We would be honored to share your healing path. Until next week,